Hey, what is up, guys? I thought I'd do this satellarknight deck profile thingy. Unfortunately, I tried to do this last time and put a link down below in the description box for if you just wanted to download this and net deck it. Unfortunately, it will not let me do that no more for some reason on YouTube. So if any of you may know a reason to this, please do leave that in the comment section below and let me know if YouTube just hates me or not. But straight into the deck profile of satellarknights, my favorite deck. Yay! So the first thing is one Thunder King. I use this for mainly the one-off it's only at one. I use it mainly for the mirror match and those times where I go up against Tamers and I say I dare you to bring out Connor Hawk. And it's also fun against any deck that just searches in general and it shuts them down straight away. And then 2 Unocala. People have told me to run 3 at my locals. I am still sticking to my guns and running 2 because I don't see any reason to run any more than 2. Then the controversial card, 3 Assault Halberd. Now this I actually put in because 1, it does piercing. 2, it searches for itself. 3, it's a cyber dragon. And then 4, it makes him. So why wouldn't you run this card? It's just amazing. And even if you get it in your opening hand and you have like an Altier and a Deneb, you can still go special this, normal Deneb. Deneb gets it searched, and then you have this, which is your beta, a Deneb, and maybe a Stellanova Alpha set. So then you have this as your monster to stay alive, Deneb as your fodder for the Alpha, and Alpha because it's Alpha. So that's my reasoning for actually running that, and it is quite a good body. Point granted, it's not as big as Thunder King, but it's a good body to use in first turn situations or even in late game when you just want to make one of your big exceed plays. Then the standard 3 Altier. If I need to explain this, you shouldn't be running the deck. 3 Deneb. I don't know who, but someone on YouTube actually did say, what is the point of running 3 Deneb? All you need is 1, and then you basically get your plays from there. The reasoning for running 3 Deneb is consistency, people. The consistency of keep drawing until, well, it makes it so much easier because if you had 1 Deneb, you'd have to keep drawing until you finally got to that 1 Deneb or Rota. While if you have 3 Denebs, the chances of pulling it are greater, and then with the pot of dualities and the Rotas, it just makes it so much easier, and the Unocalas sending it to the graveyard for fodder for this and this. And then 1 Aslam. I actually ran this over Regal because this one was originally in my mind. I didn't want to run Regal because people said it was the beta that got over Thunder King if you went over in the mirror match, or just got over those big problematic cards that usually you couldn't get over. And I thought, point granted, it does get over the problematic card, but the amount of times I've used Regal to get past a problematic card, another one just comes up and I just sit there and go, well, now I've lost my beta, so that's a bit of a problem. So I'd rather run Aslam because it gets to my opponent's life points much quicker, which in this deck you get control of the field very, very easily. And then if you can keep on summoning this, not recommended to summon it every single time off Altier or Vega, but if you can summon this every so often, those extra life point damage do add up, and it's always funny. If you've ever played the original version of Satellas where some people did run Aslam, it was always funny summoning this and then Cowboy straight after, and you do 1-8 for game instead of the standard 800 for game from Cowboy. And then the 2 Vega, I still see no reason to run 3. That rounds up all the monsters at 15, then 3 Rhoda because this is a warrior deck except for Thunder King. 1 Soul Charge. I have mainly used this like a monster reborn just to bring back the one-off monster just so I can have my plays. And for some reason, if I use Soul Charge and then use the monsters that I brought back to summon him, he can attack for some reason. I thought Soul Charge was just a mechanic that just stopped everything from attacking, not actually affected the monster itself, but just stopped it in general. But if he can attack under Soul Charge, I'm not going to question it. And also, it does pay off on occasion. I have once and only once had to go Soul Charge for 5 to bring him out, because it was virtually, I had only Soul Charge in hand, and it was this, and 2 of these in the grave, and I just thought Soul Charge for 5 and just get my place straight away. So Soul Charge is always fun when you top deck it. Then the 2-potted dualities, you do a lot of special summonings in this deck, so it's not recommended to run 3. I prefer to run 2, so you just get into your pot when you need your pot. And then 2 MSTs. People tell me to side these all the time. I am not going to side my MSTs on the 1. It's funny when your opponent thinks that you don't run them. And 2, when did back row no longer become a problem? Because Scout still exists, Skill Drain still exists, Recreate still exists. Point granted, it doesn't affect this deck as much except for Traver it. Well, it doesn't actually affect this deck at all, really, except for the Thunder King on the off chance and this. But it does affect the clear player, which gives them better advantage. And Loser Turn still exists. Well, just started to exist, but there are still problems where you need MSTs as your answer. And then the 1 Book of Moon, because this is the Regeki for Burning Abyss, which is always very, very funny. And then that's 9 spells. Then I go into the traps of 2 Mind Crush. I would love to main 3, except I would rather main the Ring of Destruction and Vanities and things like that, just to get the extra points of damage in there, because this deck loves to just screw with your opponent's field, and then with the fact I run Aslan and Ring of Destruction, I can start screwing with their life points as well. And then 2 Mirror Force, because Mirror Force, it's always funny to punish you, send you players, and saves you, well, buys you a turn against clear players, and my answer to the Jin Lock at times. 1 Ring of Destruction, because it's Ring of Destruction, why wouldn't you run it? 1 Vanities, because it's Vanities. My 4 Call of the Haunted, well, my 4th Call of the Haunted with Oasis of Dragon Souls, because unfortunately you can't run 4 Call of the Haunted, and sometimes you want to bring out like Vegas and this in defense just to protect you for that 1 turn. Double Fiendish Chain, I am trying to find room for my 3rd Fiendish Chain, except I can't really see taking out many things. I may take out like Vanities or Ring of Destruction, because I have yet to see them, but I do think every time it is helpful when I have them, because it's just really, really helpful when you top deck Vanities against something like Burning Abyss or the Mirror Match, because it's always fun. And then the other Call of the Haunted, because this deck loves the grave. 3 Stellar Nova Alphas, why not run your own version of Solemn Warning that gives you advantage? And then 1 Solemn Warning, because it's warning. Into the extra deck. I don't actually own a Satellarknight Diamond, but on here it is a diamond. In reality, I actually run Ragnar Zero over it, because at my locals, Burning Abyss is a problem, Clees are a problem, and basically every deck at my locals nearly increases attack, except for this deck. Subtracting this, which it doesn't matter if it increases attack, and this. But Diamond's just there because it's Diamond, and I'm still trying to figure out why it's a worm type to this day, because when I first looked at it, I did think it's a dragon, and then I thought, wait, why would it be a worm still? Just why? Then the 1 Deltaurus, because on the off chance, when I have gone up against Gladiator Beasts and decks that you don't want to return everything back to their hand, because if you do, they get their Tenkis, Tetsus, whatever, back to hand, and it is a bit of a problem then dealing with them, so the Deltaurus does help just to clear those 1 cards. And it's always fun then, because once Deltaurus is out, they can't really do anything to a monster when it's summoned. 1 Kergorgon, just for the plays of my one or 2 opponents I have seen have gone MST, and I've just gone Kergorgon effect, change the target to something else. I have very rarely made Kergorgon. I probably make it 1 in every 10 games or so. but it's also just there for it's an extra beta. Then 1 Constellar Omega, because I still fear back row to this day, and Mirror Force is a problem in my eyes, so Omega is always my answer to it. 2 Trevor, I don't like running 3 Trevor. I have never brought out a 3rd Trevor. I usually go Trevor, then summon 2nd Trevor during the next turn to bounce the original 1 back after I've kind of destroyed my opponent's hand, and then I get more pluses, and it's Trival. 1 Gandiva, because Pendulum decks still exist. Cleese, this is funny against. Zephyrs, this is hilarious against. And to an extent, Burning Abyss, this is very hilarious to use against them. And then the one Excalibur, because this is my answer to Towers. Game damage if Cowboy can't do it some of the times. I am trying to find a place to put in another Castell, but I'm trying to keep this as close to the build I actually own in reality. But when the tins come out, I probably will take Rhapsody out for another Castell. 1 Paladynamo, because it's just those times where you just want to just clear, just to stop things from working. I have used it on once against a construct just so I could get past it, because I couldn't at the time I didn't have any other plays. 1 Dweller, because it's Abyss Dweller. Cowboy, because this deck just loves having control over life points, and it's basically the game winning card with the extra 800 or 1,800 with that. This, because this is the answer to Towers. This is the answer to Towers, hands down. This card basically puts this to shame, and any other answer in this deck that I have to Towers to shame, because this deck spams, can get out 3 level 4s very easily. And when you have this card with 3 level 4s, 1, it can't be destroyed by battle. 2, it's gained an extra 1,500 attack. And 3, it's unaffected by all other card effects. So you basically summon this. This can crash into Towers and kill it, because Towers may have the effect of all special summon monsters lose. I think it's 500 attack, but this is unaffected by Towers, and unfortunately for Towers, that can be destroyed by battle, unlike this. So this is basically the answer, and then usually when it runs out of the material, I use Trevor to put it back for lols later. And 1 Rhapsody, this is just really here for the sake of it. I don't think I've ever used Rhapsody yet. I'm probably going to take that one out for some of the rank 4, maybe Ragnar 0. When I get a diamond, I will probably swap that for Ragnar 0, because I've never used Rhapsody yet, and I can't imagine really needing it. It's one of those cards where in the back of your mind, you're thinking, this could be really, really useful. And then in reality, in practice, you're thinking, this card is really, really crap. But it does help on the off chance, but I've still seen no reason to run Rhapsody. And I've still seen no reason to summon. And then for the standard side deck, this is probably one of the only decks that I'm going to do side deck. I may do a side deck every so often with other decks, but then it's too honest. I don't like maining honest, because I don't see any reason to main honest yet. Point granted, it is an answer to the Djinn Lock, but there are other answers in this deck to the Djinn Lock, such as the Mirror Force, the Ring of Destruction, your protection with vanities, and Solar Warning. Those are basically the answers to the Djinn Lock for my deck, just those 5. And that's really it, besides the Book of Moon, well, 6 then. 2 Flying Caesar, because this is always funny against Burning Abyss. 2 Twisters, because Clee is still a problem. Forbidden Graveyard, because I cannot bring myself to running Soul Drain for some reason, because the life points, I'd rather keep the life points and just do this as like the one-off for the turn, because this is actually fun against Burning Abyss, Shadow, and virtually every other deck that likes to use the Graveyard. On one chance, I have actually used this against a Darkwall player, and I hate Darkwall, so that made me a very, very happy man seeing that card. So then I side in the one of the Mind Crush, just for those games like Shadow, well, not really Shadow can cover the 2 Mind Crush, Necros and, Necros and Clee for the extra Mind Crush. And then 2 Chthonian polymers. This card was, when people first found out about Shadows, some people were actually running this somewhat. I still like running this because it's always fun to watch the look on your opponent's face when you steal their construct and they can't really do anything as a response to it. So it just is really, really fun. Point granted, I do have to tribute monsters, so sometimes it does make my Nova Alpha dead, but it makes it worth it at times. And then 2 Imperial Iron Walls because my deck hates banishing and it hates Djinns. And then I take in 2 cards, Retort actually. This came out in Abyss Rising as a secret, I believe, and this was basically used in the Spellbook Mirror Match format because Spellbooks was the deck that had virtually every card in it for every player was virtually the same. It's like Volcanics, there was only about 2 cards that maybe were different. So this card basically, if your opponent activates a spell or trap that's got the same name as a spell or trap in your grave, you can negate it, destroy it, and then add that copy from your grave to your hand. So basically, I've used this so many times where I've gone Stellar Nova Alpha, and then my opponent's chained Alpha, and then I've played this because I already probably had an Alpha in grave, or even in the times where they go Call of the Haunted, or virtually any time in the mirror match for Satellas, most of the back row is exactly the same. It's going to be the 3 Alpha, the 3 Call, be the Shades, Oasis, Mind Crushers, MSTs, Pot of Dualities, and Rotors. They're all going to be in every Satellarknight deck. The difference might be the Ring of Destruction or that. But besides that, the whole deck is going to be exactly the same. No real changes. So, thanks guys for watching if you've watched this far. I do like it when you leave comments about how you would change this deck or how you would slightly run it different. But as always, I'm going to say like, comment, and subscribe. There, I've said it after nearly stuttering. So thanks for watching, and I'll sign out now. Peace.